Hey guys, welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about the Google Pixel 6a, if you're considering to upgrade from the Pixel 3a, 4a, or even 5a to the 6a, and if you're just considering to upgrade from any other budget Android phone that you've been using for about 1 to 2 years, and also just a general review of the Pixel 6a and just my experience over the past month. Now I guess the biggest question would be, why did I actually upgrade my Pixel 4a to my Pixel 6a? And the biggest and simplest answer to that was actually the price. When I looked at the pre-order price and what Google was offering for trade-in value for my phone, I realized that it's very unlikely that I'm going to get another chance to get this kind of trade-in value. And I was right. After I actually went ahead and pre-ordered the phone, and I got my phone's trade-in value was worth $300, so I only had to pay $150 for the Pixel 6a, and it also came with a free pair of Google earbuds. Those earbuds are actually worth $99 as well. So at the end of the day, it's like you're really paying about $50 for a brand new phone. So it just made sense to me to just get a faster phone and a newer phone for as cheap as that. Now, some of the considerations that I also made when trying to upgrade was because I was looking forward to just using a Google phone with a Google chip and just looking forward to the experience, especially being able to review it for you guys. So, one of the major things I guess I was trying to look forward to for the Pixel 6a was also the increased size of the screen, the larger battery life, and just a better overall experience, especially because it was supposed to have a glass back, just be built with better or more premium materials. So I guess in upgrading this phone, some of the things that I would actually say were better was the battery life, for instance. I actually get a lot more battery life in comparison to my Google Pixel 4a. The battery from my 4a typically lasted about a day or a day and a half. For this Google Pixel 6a, I typically can go about 2 days with just one charge, and that's like fully using applications on my phone, listening to music on it, and it typically does last me about 2 days, from beginning to end, and that's pretty good, at least for an Android phone with such a large screen. And I guess one of the things that we were looking forward to or hoping for was a better screen, and we didn't really get that this time. We basically got the exact same screen, which sadly basically meant that because it was larger, it actually did have reduced PPI, that's the pixel per inch of the screen. And the more realistic that we actually got on the screen was actually pretty neat, because having a bigger screen, being able to watch videos and being able to just use a phone that is no longer too small, especially for people like me that do have larger hands. So having a budget phone that was still packed up with this bigger screen was nice. Now, something else that I actually came across was the fact that the camera was not different at all. So now for the main lens, that's the main sensor for the camera, it's actually the exact same thing in the Pixel 4a. There was actually no change whatsoever. So you will be getting pretty much the exact same pictures. But at least with the Pixel 6a, you do get the ultra wide camera that also is able to give you better shots. But the one thing I will tell you is that based on my experience with the camera, I have not seen any exponential changes or any exponential differences in the actual picture quality that you get at the end, because we all know typically with pixels you do take a picture and it does take a bit to process. But one thing I do notice is that the processing time for getting these photos has reduced due to the chipset that it's using now. Google has actually switched over from the Qualcomm, at least that was on the Pixel 4a, to the Google Tensor that is now in the Pixel 6a. And I guess just going on from talking about the chip, the phone is a little bit faster because the screen is still the 60 Hz screen, the exact same screen as the Pixel 4a. There really isn't that much of a noticeable difference to the eyes in terms of scrolling up or down or opening apps. But in terms of actually speed of opening apps, the speed of being able to check the amount of apps you have open and being able to close apps as well is also pretty much faster. That's all due to the Google Tensor chip. So I was talking about the Pixel 6a and the good things about the Pixel 6a and the not so good things, or let me say things that are pretty much the same as a Pixel 4a or the older phones. Let's go ahead to talk about the upgrades that I feel like were not necessary. Now, I think one of the biggest ones for this is the in-screen fingerprint sensor. And I'm not crapping on Google or anything for them trying to try new things, but I have to be honest, I think this is the worst choice that Google could have made. And the reason why I say this is because from my experience with using this phone, it takes me at least 4 to 5 times more, or it takes me at least 4 to 5 times more than I used to use my Pixel 4a just to open my phone. And it's annoying. Now, every single time I'm trying to use the screen, or every single time I'm pressing the screen or trying to use the fingerprint sensor, it's always not recognizing it. Why is it not recognizing it? Because there's a smudge on my screen, or I have to clean my screen. I should not need to do this every single time. The sensor should be better. And the problem that I have with this is that in the Pixel 4a, you knew that the fingerprint was at the back. was great to use, easy to use. Every single time I used it, every once or twice it might not work, but I know it's gonna work eventually. But with this fingerprint in the screen, it barely ever works, and I'm being very honest. And this is one of the biggest pet peeves that I have with the Pixel 6a, because the phone is a nice phone. It's not a worst phone, especially for the price that it is, or the price range that it was. I typically would say that it's not the worst phone, but then with this fingerprint, I find it very, very hard to kind of get over this, especially because it's supposed to be an upgrade, but in reality, it's not. And then moving on to the premium quality materials that we say it's built with now. It's built with glass, it's built with aluminum, it's a better phone. But then I put the phone in my pocket and it's still scratching. I put the phone on a table and I pick it up and I see that the camera bump, the black paint on the camera bump is scratching off, and I've not had this phone, and it was scratching off when I hadn't had this phone for up to 3 weeks. So it's not wear and tear, it's just the quality of the color or the quality of the paint that they used to paint this phone is poor. Because why would I have scratches that are already so obvious, you know, showing the silver of the aluminum so quickly? And I feel like these are things that on Google's part they should have done better with, because with the Google Pixel 4a, I didn't have these issues. So I guess one major thing for me is looking back on the Google Pixel 4a and looking at my Pixel 6a, just my general experience with the Pixel 6a when the phone is open, it's great. It's a pretty good phone, I gotta be honest, especially because of the price I got the phone. It's kind of like a no-brainer. It's a faster chip, it's a newer phone, it's just nice to have a new phone again. But now the problems that I'm having with the phone, kind of like some of the things that have been mentioned. I personally haven't experienced the faulty brightness changing when you're outside in the sun. It's actually been pretty good with the brightness and when I'm using it in the sun. And now just looking at the overall experience I've had over the past month, like I said, it is an okay phone. I feel like the biggest problem I have is I find it very hard to recommend the phone when I personally do not love it. Like, unlike the Pixel 4a, when I got it, the camera was out of this world. Right now, the Pixel 6a still has the exact same camera as the Pixel 4a. So it's very hard to recommend over just buying an older phone that's, you know, maybe getting a new older phone. And an older phone would be cheaper. And I'm looking at the price right now, after the pre-order season was actually over, right now, for trade-in value, you're not getting $300 if you have a 4A or a 3A. You're getting like $40 something or $70 at most. So realistically, it's very hard to recommend the Pixel 6a right now, especially with the other budget phones that Samsung has come out with. It's a very, very hard one. So I guess today I'm just gonna say the Pixel 6a is a very okay phone. If you've had the Pixel 4a and you did pre-order it, or you had a 4a or 3a or 5a and you pre-ordered the phone, pretty sure that you got it for a good price. So you would be happy with your phone. But if you're trying to look towards buying the Pixel 6a right now, at the price point it is, and you know, with the lower trading value, it'd be very hard to recommend. But I guess at the end of the day, it just all depends on what you want. And if you're a Google fan, you know, a hardcore Google fan, then go for it. But I'm pretty sure that there are other options in the market that would give you more bang for your buck. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment down below of what your general experience is with your phone, be it an Android or an iPhone, and if you'd ever consider, switching to the Google Pixel line. Anyway, thanks for watching.